Hello everybody. I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to thank you guys for all of your comments and your words of encouragement yesterday. Some of you guys really took a lot of time and to go deep into your comments, and I really appreciate it. I've been here in the Philippines for coming on 6 years now, and there is so much paperwork here that you have to do to be able to legally stay here, and my stroke brain hates paperwork. It hates that kind of work, and right now I'm facing a situation where my flesh is screaming. That part of me that's human is having fear of having to leave here for some time, and I don't know how I would get back. And it's nothing that's going to happen here soon, but maybe in 7 or 8 months if I can't get something straightened out with my passport. And the thought of that is very frightening to me, because I love my family here, and I love this ministry here. The ministry will always carry on even if I'm not here. Lynn and the girls will always carry that on. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for your words of encouragement, and just let you know that is very much appreciated. Even after 10 years of being born again, I'm still learning to rely on the strength of God for for everything. That it's not my will but His will, and that things, it may seem like something bad, it may seem like I don't want to do that. That's get behind me, Satan, because you're getting in the way of God, of Him moving things for you and putting you in places. Sometimes you'll go to places you don't want to go, but it's part of God's plan. It's like you're kicking and screaming the whole way, but there's a bigger plan to it, and you just got to be open to it to see the bigger picture. Back in 2008, I had a stroke during neck surgery, and when I woke up, my life was totally flipped upside down. I thought whenever before I went to have surgery, I thought, man, I was so looking forward to whenever I woke up to not having pain anymore and having a normal life, and when I woke up, my life was turned upside down. That stroke did a number on me. My arm couldn't move my arm, couldn't move my leg, couldn't even swallow my own saliva, my own spit, without getting choked. I had to have a feeding tube. Had that thing for almost 3 years. After, I guess, about a year of physical therapy, the therapist told me, that I'd gotten as good as I would ever get. I was as best I would ever be, and I was still totally dependent on everybody. And in 2010, I decided I'm not gonna live this way anymore, and I'm gonna end it. And I remember I had a bottle of they were like the generic Xanax or Valium, and it had been a bottle of, I think there was 120, but it was down to about 80 or 90. And I took all of them. I said, that's it. I'm not going to do this. And I don't remember anything else. Next thing I know is I'm in this old movie theater, like the old Martin Theater in Mount Pleasant, or the old theater in Dangerfield, Texas. You know what I'm talking about. One of them old movie theaters from the 30s. That have them old movie posters, The Bride of Frankenstein and Werewolf and all that stuff. It was one of those type, very dark. And I was the only one in there. There was all these empty seats, and the only light was coming from the screen. And it was just the screen was lit up. And I remember I went and I sat down in the very middle chair, in the very middle of the theater. And it was a very nice chair. It was like a modern chair. It was one you could kick back like a recliner. And as soon as I kicked it back and went to stretch back, and I put my head in the headrest, it was like a million fiber optic cables, little bitty lights, just morphed into my head from that headrest. And whenever that happened, I went down this tunnel. It was just spinning down this tunnel. And I remember seeing, it was like I was watching a movie of my life going down this tunnel. And I could see myself all throughout history repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. And when I got to the end of this tunnel, it was like I just, boom, just stopped, just like that. And I was in this place of just total darkness. It was like the darkness was alive. It was like it was liquid. It was so dark, but it had a shimmer to it, and it would almost stick to you. And I remember thinking to myself, you have to remember, I don't remember that I took pills. I don't remember nothing of this. It was just all of a sudden I was in a theater. You know, I wasn't thinking, and I didn't have any paralysis or feeding tube or anything. I was normal. I had my health. And I remember thinking to myself, you've been abducted by aliens and these guys are gonna mess with you, you know? And so I was telling myself, you got to keep your composure here. You're gonna have to be sharp, because these guys are gonna try to outwit you. And then all of a sudden, all these little people, little bitty tiny people, maybe 3 foot tall, come all around me. And they were trying to pull me. There was this hallway. All of a sudden this hallway just formed. It had doors on each side, and at the very end there was a door. Remember, I couldn't see their faces, but I knew they were little people. And they were pulling me down this hallway, and I remember I was interested in what was behind those doors, but they wouldn't let me go to them. They were pulling me to the door at the end of the hall. And when I got to the end of the hall, they opened the door and they pushed me inside, and they closed the door behind me. And that's when I seen what I call the Darkman. It was just this huge giant of a man like Goliath, but it was just a shadow figure. And I couldn't see his eyes or make out anything about his face, but it was just a big shadow man. And I knew when I saw him that I was gonna have to fight him, and that it was gonna be a fight for my very soul. I spoke about my testimony years ago, and whenever I spoke about what happened next, at the time I believed I was in hell. I believe it's something else now. I believe this was God showing me something, teaching me a lesson. But I saw this Darkman, and I knew I was going to fight him. And at that moment, it dawned on me. I realized that I was in a coma. I realized that I was out, and that if this Darkman beat me, I would not wake up. I remember I was like Jackie Chan. I had all the moves. And I remember I'd go at this guy, I'd knock him down, and I'd think, okay, I got him. He'd get back up. I'd have to use another move. It was like he would memorize every move that I would use, and I couldn't use the same move a second time. It was like it would delete it. I remember this went on and on and on and on, and finally I got down to my last move, and I was thinking to myself, if this guy gets up, that's it, it's over with. I remember I knocked him down and I jumped on top of him, and my intention was just to bite him, do whatever I had to do to make sure he didn't get up. And that's the first time I saw what looked kind of like eyes. And he opened up and looked at me, and he said, you got me this time, but I'm not finished with you yet. And at that moment, I started smelling like rubber burning. I started hearing sirens and things. And I woke up, and I was handcuffed in a bed in a hospital. And they said, you've been out for 21 days. 2 years later, on June 14th of 2012, God revealed himself to me and saved me, changed my life forever. Drugs were gone, cigarettes were gone, everything, all those bad habits that I had were gone, depression. Taught me how to put my pain somewhere else, and helped me recover from the symptoms of the stroke. Later on in my walk, I asked God, I said, Father, what happened? What did I experience whenever I tried to kill myself? What was that? Who was the Darkman? Why did he keep getting back up, and why did he tell me he wasn't finished with me yet? I was worried about that. And God told me, he said, all your life, you've been trying to fight your battles on your own. And he said, you've been trying to fight your battles on your own. And it wasn't until June 14th, 2012 that you let me fight it for you. And you don't have to worry about that Darkman anymore. He's down, he's out, he's gone, he's never coming back. He won't get up again. And that's what I'm having to learn in this world, is that the Darkman is defeated. God has my back. And no matter where I have to go, what I have to do in this life, he's got a plan for it. And I've just got to let go and let God. That's it. I got to quit worrying about these small things. I got to quit worrying, letting that Darkman, because see, the Darkman that he beat, the Darkman that he defeated was me. And I've got to let that guy is dead. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And that guy is gone. But from time to time, this flesh, this human side of me tries to get up and say, you know, I like this, I'm afraid. Things like that, but I can't be. Thank you guys for your encouraging words. They lifted me up, it really did. I feel better, but I have to always just remember that God has me. I have to look at where I was 10 years ago and where I'm at now and just not have any worries, no fear. I love you all. God bless.